Podcast. We'll be sitting down with a fresh guest each week. Someone who shares the same kayak fishing passion that runs through our veins. We're talking kayak anglers, kayak companies, lure experts. Heck, anyone who's got a story to tell about landing the big ones from a kayak. We're setting our sights on becoming the #1 kayak fishing podcast in the world. You'll get a chuckle, a grin, and hey, maybe even a belly laugh. Because we believe in the power of humor. But above all, we're here to educate and inspire. So, whether you're a seasoned kayak angler or just dipping your toes into this exhilarating world, join us on the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast. It's time to reel in adventure, camaraderie, and the joy of the catch. Here's your host, Daren Wendell.
You fish freaks, welcome back to episode number 147 of the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast. I'm Daren with Wendell Fishing. I got my co-host Wyatt Hammond riding shotgun with me tonight. We've got a good one for you. Tonight's guest really doesn't need much of an introduction, right? If you follow competitive kayak fishing, you've seen the name Ewing Miner sitting at or near the top of the leaderboards all across the country. And one thing seems to follow Ewing wherever he goes, big freaking bass. So whether it's offshore fish, river smallmouth, or completely changing the game when plan A falls apart, this dude just finds a way to consistently put giants on the board. So if there's anybody we want to pick apart and ask, how in the heck do you consistently catch the bigs? It's Mr. Miner. We have him tonight. But before we jump into the show, a quick word from KFast, our sponsor, Kayak Fishing Advanced Safety Training. If you spend time fishing from a kayak, safety really shouldn't be an afterthought, right? KFast was built to give kayak anglers practical, real-world safety education that actually applies to what we do on the water. The certification walks you through the fundamentals every kayak angler should know, and it's just $25 to get certified. And so whether you're brand new to kayak fishing or you've been doing it for years, take the course, earn your certification, and most importantly, know your limits. Head over to kfast.co to earn your certification today. Wyatt, my man, it has been a few weeks. How you doing?
Doing all right. Yeah. Got back from PA. Finally escaped PA. I was up there for 2 weeks.
Escaped. You're on the Susky, right? Is that right?
Yep. So I went up there to help set up a store. I got to fish some mountain lakes up there in around Pittsburgh and stuff like that. Had a good time out there, and then rode out and bounced my way down the Susky.
Man, we were all over the place. I was up in freaking Canada. I drove 18 hours nonstop, hopped on a water plane, bush plane, whatever you call it. And I was after pike all week, bro. I don't think I've talked to you since that.
No, I was wanting to hear about that.
Whew. So I didn't know this, but I guess a trophy pike is like 40 inches, right? And so everyone was trying to go after 40-inch pike. How many north of 40 can we get? And our team ended up getting like 19 total over 40 inches. We had a 46. I caught two 44s, which is like a 25-pound pike. Just managing it on bass tackle. It was freaking awesome, man. And so I got all kinds of videos and photos and stuff that are going to be coming out starting next week. It's hours and hours of footage you got to edit, but man, that was a blast. So catching a 4-pound bass, fun. Catching a 25-pound pike, bro, that's just next level. So it was a good time.
Man.
Well,
yeah, I did that one time.
I know, right? It was a good time. All right, well, let's go ahead and get I got Ewing over here sitting in the green room. Ewing, welcome to the show, brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm a little jealous. I'm the only one that doesn't have check wallpaper behind me, so I'm a little sad. Wyatt, I see a lot of champions on Ewing's background. I see a bunch of 3rd and 4th and 5th places on yours. What's going on here?
Yeah, so true. Traded a lot of mine. Traded all my champions for 5th and 6th.
Oh, is that what happened? Oh my gosh, so good. Well, I have officially lost mouse control. What in the world just happened? So I can't monitor anything on my screen. All right, so Wyatt,
handle it over here.
I don't know what just happened.
Bass Nation, and call it the TVA Bass Nation because it's Chick, Watts Bar, Pickwick, Gunnersville, and 2 of those are mainly in Alabama. But
actually, I remember you had like 106 down in Gunnersville earlier this year too.
108.
108.
Oh, he remembers.
I did. You can't forget days like that. It was spectacular. I was just riding out the urchin craze, which is they're getting very smart to it. It blew up, and I know some people are still catching them, but usually when they get smart to baits, they get smart to them first in Tennessee.
I was telling them it seems like it's dying off a little bit more. Everybody's still throwing it, but you're starting to separate like the diehard people who are throwing it versus the casual people who are throwing it now. And so you were one of the first ones out there throwing it, as far as I remember. Like it was back in February, March. You had it before everybody.
Well, I threw it in practice for the Dale Hollow event I won last year.
Really?
So I've been throwing it, but I wasn't throwing it right. It took some people catching them on live for me to finally figure it out. But yeah, I rode that train for a little while, and it was fun. But it's the last few times I've thrown it, it's not like it used to be, and it happened quick.
That's so interesting. I've noticed people's tolerance for seeing it online is also not. People are like, oh, chump bait, this, that, oh, you're whatever. And I got some people who are writing me like, oh, I've never used it before in my life. I need to go buy this. So up here in Ohio, they're still stupid because they're still eating that thing like it was 3 months ago, at least on the lakes I'm throwing it on. So I don't know, but I'm sure down in Tennessee, those highly pressured lakes. I mean, Wyatt, when you took me to the lake where you made me fall in love with the thing, I went the next day. And I literally was catching fish that had quickies in their mouth that had broken off from people. Like, holy crap, this thing is really getting thrown quite a bit. So that is wild. Now, Ewing, you said you weren't throwing it right. So maybe help somebody out who maybe making the same mistakes that you made last year, and tell us how you do it now.
So I was throwing it and kind of, sink it down to the fish and just shaking it kind of like you would with a minnow. It's more of a jerk bait than it is that ripping it. I don't think you can rip it too hard or too fast. If they're going to eat it, they're going to eat it. And it's more of playing cat and mouse with them instead of trying to sit there and hover it over their head and annoy them. It's pulling it away from them. And something about where it pulses, when they eat it, they eat it. But if they're not going to eat it, they'll swim up and they'll just swim off.
Yeah. So you primarily using FFS to identify this, casting past them, and then, you do it like 2 or 3 feet above where they're suspended and make them come up and chase it, or what's your style there?
Well, usually I'm fishing structure with it. I've found the suspended fish don't usually eat it that good. Sometimes they will, but most of the time the suspended fish aren't. For whatever reason, they just won't eat it.
How about roamers?
If they're on bottom, yes.
Okay.
But when they're suspended, you can catch some, but I think a minnow is still more effective with those fish. Which also, like the last Tennessee Bass Nation event I fished on Chickamauga, they wouldn't eat it. I caught them on a Nico rig, a minnow, a flutter spoon, but I didn't catch any on the urchin. It was, which could also be seasonal, but only time will tell with that. We'll know next spring when either everything starts getting on with it again or it's not really a talk.
Yeah. Hoping everybody forgets about it by next spring.
Moved on to the next thing.
The elites will remind everyone what's hot.
Yeah. That and everybody would have overbought them and stopped using them. They're like, oh, I might as well bring this back out of the rotation. I have 50 of them. Wyatt, how are they selling at the store?
Tapered off a good bit, but the newer ones, I still have piles of them now. Used to be I was getting them 800 at a time, and I was selling just cases of them. Like I couldn't put them out on the shelf fast enough, and now they're hanging out there.
Some BOGOs going on.
Yeah, buy one get there, buy 2 get 1 free or something like that. They're marking them down. It's all kinds of stuff trying to move them.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was that nobody knows what to do with them, confusion. Everybody, it was overhyped so much that everybody expects them to be, dropping in the water and fish just start boiling all around it and going after
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Got 25s, like bumping 24s out of the way to chew on it. Ewing, do you find it? This is just what I found, and maybe it's just my experience, but I found them to kind of be like dink repellent. Typically, I won't get the smallest fish if they're on
big ones.
structure to nail it. It's gonna be one of the larger ones there.
Yeah.
Is that your experience or no?
Yeah, I mean, you will catch smaller fish on it, but especially if you throw like the full cast, you don't really catch small ones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you catch 5 fish,
you're right. Ones.
Four of them are going to be over 18 inches.
Yeah,
is what it seems like.
What's your go-to urchin?
Koiki.
Got it.
I've fished the other ones and I've caught plenty of big fish on it. I caught, when I had 108 on Gunnersville, that was on the Hags prickly pear. But like when the ones that get pressured to it, you can tell a big difference between it's just the like off brands. They all seem to, which most of them are the same manufacturer, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
They're just ordering them in bulk, packaging them, and sending them out. But they're not as stiff as the hide up koikis are. And I think something about that, whatever way it pulses, like if you rip one of many off brands, they'll fold all the way back and then come out.
Okay.
Whereas the hide up, it springs real quick.
All right. Interesting. I don't think I've actually held a actual hide up koiki in my hands before. Prickly pear, the generics. I fished the amoeba with success, but never actually have had one of those. So I'm gonna have to take your word for it, or just get my hands on it myself. All right, we're gonna move away from the urchin conversation unless it comes back naturally. Let's move over to you got a lot of checks on your wall. There's a lot of championship trophies behind you.
Just from this year.
Yeah, I know, right? You're on fire. I was looking at your standings today on Tourney X. I mean, you've caught multiple 25 3/4 that I saw, and these are just absolute monsters. So when did you realize you were approaching bass fishing differently than most anglers?
I don't know. I feel like I'm not really approaching it that much differently. There's a lot of guys that are out there doing it the same. I think it's just like the instinct of when to change and when to make those adjustments. Because a lot of those, usually your tournament wins. It's not exactly your practice plan is what you do. Something changes throughout the day and you make that change. You realize what I'm doing is not, it might be working, but not how it needs to work. And you make that adjustment. And I think that's the biggest thing in tournament fishing is being able to adjust with the day, with the conditions, relocate those fish and stay with it, especially 2-day tournaments. You get out there day 2, it's almost always different.
Yeah. Interesting. So you're saying it's not necessarily that you're fishing different baits or doing anything much. It's your ability to pivot quicker.
Yeah, kind of being in tune with everything. I was telling a guy today, like last year at Gunnersville, whenever I was fishing a whole bunch of docks, and I saw a little mat of eelgrass blowing up to a dock, and I punched a jig through it and caught a 21 out of it. And I was like, just being able to see that kind of stuff. I was like, you need to. Whenever I was telling them about Gunnersville, I was like, Gunnersville's got fish everywhere, but being able to pick up that one extra big fish is going to make all the difference out there. It's going to make all the difference pretty much anywhere you go. Just being able to see that, hey, maybe I should do this. Just try it.
So is that something you notice? Both is the question for both of you as in the tournament. So you guys have a lot of conversations, post-mortems on tournaments. You're all sitting around having, coffee, drinks, whatever it is, food, and you talk about the tournament after it's all said and done. In those conversations, like what's a theme that you see like mistakes that are like, oh, mistakes are made. That's something I learned 3 years ago and I implemented that. I'm just curious to see, like, from someone, you guys are winning tournament anglers, right? So what are some of the biggest mistakes you even see from some of your fellow anglers? You're like, hey, if you could just fine tweak that one or two things, like you could be competing at a level you don't even know yet. Now, you might not share that with them, but you just know in the back of your head because you did the reps, you figured that out. You got the 4th, 5th places when you should have got first. What are some of those things?
Which I'll just relate this directly to the Susquehanna.
Okay.
Because this is the most recent thing on my mind. But a lot of people coming back to, at the ramp, everyone hooked 95 inches. At least sounds that way. Whether they're big eyeing them or not, but I think a lot of it's just like rushing the fish to the boat, which there's a time and place for it. Some baits, that's the best way to get them in the boat is to just grind them to the boat, but especially like just knowing how to play the fish based on your presentation, because a lot of the tournaments, the top 5 guys all had the bites to win. It's just the guy that won landed them. And fishing clean and knowing what to do in a given situation, and not, you've got a fish on treble hooks, not pulling that last bit to the net when you lose them every single time.
Okay, so clean. So you're talking techniques here. This isn't just about they've done
that's-
everything right except
Yeah,
the
because
fight.
a lot of the times, like, that's what that very next level is, fishing clean.
So what are some tips for someone who's like, okay, fishing clean? To be honest with you, I've been doing YouTube a while now. Fishing clean is not one of those topics that gets talked about a lot. A lot of people talk. Everyone wants to talk about the lure. Every once in a while, people will talk about the technique. Very few people are talking about the last 6 seconds of the fight.
Most of the time, it's not rushing it.
That's it. You just play the fish, let them get tired. Because you're talking about smallmouth right now. They're bulldogging you. They're torpedoing through the air. Sure, but you're in the context of Susquehanna, right?
Yeah.
I think it's keep making sure everything's in tune. I mean, you can't go out there and throw a treble hook bait on a heavy action rod and stuff like that. Like, you've got to make sure that, if you need to be using 20 instead of 16, or 16 pound test instead of 20, or you need to be using a medium heavy instead of heavy, or a 7.3 reel instead of a 6.3, or stuff like that. Like, making sure everything is in tune and everything's working the way it should, and not testing things out the day of the tournament, because making sure that that this rod, this reel, this line, all of this is going to work for this technique that you're doing, and that's going to give you confidence to land those fish.
And I have made that mistake sometimes, and it's usually like, I'm at the tackle store the night before because I need to get 2 packs of something that they never have. It's always what you need. They don't have at the local tackle shop, but you something else catches your eye and you just tie it on whatever rod you have left, and then you end up losing a really big fish because you tied a buzzbait onto 12-pound fluorocarbon and you don't get a hook in a fish and you lose it. That type of thing. Like, just making sure it's on the right setup. Like,
all right.
But
no, I would imagine at that level, and I've fished some tournaments. I get it. Like, okay, everyone's like, oh, if I would have caught the one I lost, I would have been in the top 5 and top 10. But however, there's 20 of those stories, right? Everybody who would have caught that one giant, right, that would have put them in the top 5, top 10, and probably half of them are right. They could have. And so really paying attention at this level, like, those details actually matter. What you're saying, they matter more than most people actually think. Most people are thinking it's lure. Most people are thinking it's, area presentation. Not a lot of people are talking about fishing clean in the details. So I like that. Next question I have for you. Of course, everybody wants to catch big fish. The biggest, the fatter, the longer in our scenario, the better. So what would you say separates the anglers, who everyone listening on here, we're just weekend warriors, man. We're just trying to get a little bit better. Maybe we'll hear Ewing say something that just changes the game, maybe 0.5%, and that's a whole lot better than it was when we came on the podcast today. What separates the anglers who's occasionally catch a giant from the anglers who consistently find them?
I think it's putting yourself in the right place, and whether that's from your map study, but for me, it's a big thing is, after my practice, I'm like, I went to this ramp and I had 3 bites and had 62 inches, and going there instead of the place that I know I can go catch 80 inches easily. Just being around the big fish, even if it is a risk. You're not going to win if you're not around the winning fish, and sometimes it's a hard decision of and sometimes people will go fill a limit and then go to this place with big fish.
I've heard that strategy before, right?
But then you've spent a lot of the times, the morning bite's the best thing we've got going on. Then you spent your prime time filling a limit instead of, like, say you catch a limit for 80 inches in the morning, and then you go, and in the last 2 hours of the day, you catch 2 over 20 inches.
Yeah.
When if you spent the what if, like, if you spent the whole day fishing in that area for those bigger fish, would you have over 100 inches, or would you end up with 4 for 80 inches?
Yeah.
That type of thing of taking that risk to.
Well, do you think that risk has a lot to do with kind of saving face, right? Because I've been in that scenario, like, oh man, I don't fish too many tournaments, but as a content creator, I don't want to go out there and show up with 4 fish, and so I at least just want to get a limit on the board so everyone else thinks I kind of know what I'm doing, or just freaking swing for the fences, which sounds like what you're saying. Hey, if you want to win the tournament, like, swing, take the risks. If you want to play it safe, it's likely not going to fall into your favor. If you try to fill a limit first, use your prime time, and then hopefully catch some donks when it's the hardest time of the day to do so. And so do you think that is part of it? The psychology of a lot of people?
Which, I mean, now I'm coaching the Carson Newman kayak team, and I always tell them, shoot to win, because if you go in and your goal is to cut a check and you fall short of that check, you're which it's kind of plain and simple to say it, but you're like, okay, I need to finish 15th to cut a check. Well, you fall a little bit short of that goal and you just barely miss a check. Well, if you shoot to win and you try to win, which I know most people are saying they're trying to win, but then you fall short of that, you're in 8th place, 9th place, 10th place, that type of thing. It doesn't always work out that way, but the mentality of going for that versus fishing for points or whatnot.
Which is interesting. It's because in the same tournament, you have different strategies. Some guys are just trying to fish for points, fishing to save face, fishing for ego. You got others in there like, hey, I'm fishing for top 5. You got others in there like, my only mentality, the only win today is first place. Man, those are 4 or 5 different strategies coming into the same tournament. Wyatt, have you had conversations? You've heard these conversations before? I've actually heard people say, I just want to go fill my limit first.
I want to go out for a limit. I mean, it definitely makes me feel better. It makes me feel better, but I've had to, like, suppress that a couple of times of, like, don't worry about catching fish. It comes up 10 o'clock and you've got 1 or 2 fish. And I'm just like, just keep grinding, keep doing the thing. And sometimes it works, sometimes it.
Yeah, 100%. And we got Bass Thumb A over here. He says, taking notes for the weekend. Biggest adjustment for me is going from weekend warrior to the tourney fishing, time management. Yeah. I would have
huge.
All right, then walk us through for someone who's like, well, what's Ewing talking about? Time management's huge.
Well, just like, if you pull up on your morning topwater stretch, and as soon as the sun peaks over the horizon, you go from, you were getting a blow up every 15 casts to now I've fished for 35 minutes and I haven't had a bite, go to something else or make that adjustment.
Fish tell you pretty quickly.
Yeah, they you'll know when you're doing the wrong thing. And that also becomes easier to make that decision with time and experience, but just knowing when to give up, when to change. And sometimes it's also, that from practice, which you don't always get practice, but from practice, okay, like these fish in the brush, they don't bite until 10 o'clock. And instead of, all you've got is brush going, you didn't catch fish doing anything else. Well, if you haven't had a bite before 10 o'clock in practice on brush, don't fish that brush until 10 o'clock. Go fish other stuff and hope for a bonus. Maybe you figure out a better pattern.
This is the psychology of tournament fishing, folks. These are the nuances that typically don't get talked about when it comes to preparing for a tournament. Like I said, a lot of lure talk, a lot of kind of finding bass talk, but this is some of the things that really separates the first place through fifth place through the fifth through top 50%. All right, so that kind of segues to you got to find the bass, right? It's August. So to the best of your ability, obviously you're in Tennessee. I'm up here in Ohio. Wyatt was in Pittsburgh. Now he's back into the Carolinas. What are they doing right now, generally speaking? Or you can just speak to your area, right? Where are they?
So you've got two polar opposites. You have the fish that go really far offshore, really deep, whether that's I do notice a lot of fish, they get pressured on those points and stuff, and they'll still be in those same areas, but they'll break up into wolf packs and just start roaming around chasing bait nearby. They're not necessarily on the structure. And then you also have your Drew Gregory style fish way in the backs of the creeks, cool flowing water. And those both can be winning fish, but it's your two polar opposites of either really, really shallow or way out there. The offshore fish, they might only be 10 foot down, but they're sitting over 60 foot of water or something. That varies lake to lake, but almost anywhere in the country, you're going to have dirt shallow fish and deep fish. Your middle ground that works really well I'd go as far as February all the way until mid-July tends to be less productive, and you've got your two extremes.
Got it. So if you're sitting there scratching your head and you're like, hey, why am I not catching the bass that I was in spring or typically do in the fall? And you're fishing the same places. But I want to check out those super shallow or super deep. Are you a super shallow or super deep kind of angler right now? What's your go-to and your confidence?
Right now, I'm usually super deep because of electronics, but I used to be super shallow. When I first came into college, I was tearing my boat to pieces and getting to the back.
Dragging the sun dolphin through the bushes.
Yeah, doing it.
Don't be hating on the sun dolphin.
I fished out of when I first got to college, I was fishing out of a bass tracker, but I carried a bow saw in my bass tracker, a bow saw, so I could get further back into places.
Beaver bass fisherman.
Mm-hmm. And you catch some big fish back there. They usually, as far as a weight tournament goes, they're usually long and skinny way back in the stuff, or way up shallow. They don't have as much food. Those cold water inflows, they want to cool off. They need that oxygen, but there's not as much food. So for a kayak tournament, it's great. You catch a 20-inch long fish and it's 3 pounds. Oh, well.
Yeah.
I don't care how much it weighs as long as it's long.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So for those of you out there, obviously the takeaway is if you have electronics and can utilize the best to your advantage, it's going to be easier finding those in deeper water. But for those who don't, maybe your go-to is going to be a little bit of adventure fishing. And so find those cold water inflows, make a day of it. So do you think, I got a bunch of questions here. Which one I want to ask? Or Wyatt, do you have one? Or even better yet, if you're listening in right now, if you have a question for Wyatt, Ewing, or myself, go and type that in the comment section. We'll get around to that in a moment. Ewing, what does the perfect August area look like to you? you're rolling in your kayak, you're to a new lake, you're doing your pre-fishing, and all your spidey senses just go through the roof because you just saw what?
Bait fish.
All right, you're looking for bait.
There's bait fish everywhere, but
Right.
no, it's they start to get towards your, like in the fall, everyone all they chase bait and stuff. But I mean, on electronics, you see, I should say, balls of bait. If you just see scattered bait all over the place, then they're probably not getting chased. But if they're in big tight wads, then fish are probably pestering them.
So this is the fascination with FFS. I recently just got Humminbird Mega Live 2 with an Explorer unit, and my eyes just open. There's so many freaking fish, and it's so interesting. You'll go to a lake, you'll be like, "There's nothing freaking down here," and then you go to a different lake or a different part of that lake, you're like, "Holy crap! I found them all, everything: bass, non-bass, carp, 75 different bait balls." And then this bait ball, like you said, it's really condensed. It's a really bright return, and then I can literally see the bass underneath of it, like pecking them away, and I can literally, as I roll my lure through it, they're blowing up, and then bass are taking advantage of that. It is a wild world underneath your boat, and something I never realized until you can actually see those returns on sonar. And so it's been wild. So that's what you're looking for. What I have found is, okay, there's bait ball over here, I've just passed another one, I'm scanning up, there's another one over here. The ones you're looking for is the bright return. What you're saying, you want them tight together, or you're looking for, are you looking for the fish underneath of them, or you like, hey, they're there, I just can't see them, they're in the grass?
I look for the fish as well, but sometimes you'll see like a big bait ball and big bright return, and you see a dull patch in it, and there's a fish sitting inside of the bait ball that you can't see.
All right, so if you ever see that on your FS, that's what you're looking at.
But like, as far as going out and fishing for fun, ideal August, I'm going to a river. I'm not even going to mess with the lakes because I don't enjoy it as much as going to a river. So
is it just in general you enjoy river fishing, or is it just too hot and the bite's just not as hot as it usually is?
The dog days of summer when the lakes are miserable, wake boats everywhere, you're sweating bullets, you can go fish a river, and if you get hot, you jump in chest deep and sit below a shoal and catch a bunch of smallmouth or something.
Yeah.
And the rivers are still in that flowing water. Going back to that cold inflow, the rivers are going to be colder, it's flowing, it's well oxygenated. Those fish are still very active in the summertime.
We'll get the river fishing here in just a moment. Real quick question for you. You say you're looking for bait, you find them, you got the bait ball. You just shaking a minnow down there? What are you reaching to in your arsenal of rods and reels and lures?
Minnow, spoon, topwater.
All right, go-to minnow. What type of spoon? You make them come up for the topwater. What do you got going on?
I've got a ton of different types. I mean, I own about every single type of minnow, and it seems like different bodies of water, different lakes, you'll rotate through colors, size, different profiles and stuff. And since you are looking at them on a screen, you can tell when you're throwing the right one or the wrong one, and you can go through that process of elimination pretty quick.
So this goes back to our earlier conversation. We're like, hey, you got to know when to change. So give me a scenario, a recent scenario. You see, you're throwing it. How fast are you changing baits? Are you going like, 30 seconds? Okay, I'm switching it out, or are you giving it a little bit more time? Like what's going through your head? Like teach somebody who maybe stays on bass too long, really how fast do you make the decisions? Maybe we can glean some wisdom from that.
Unless those fish are in what I would, based on my location, but call like a TVA school where they're set up on a point in a group. If they're roamers and they chase my bait once, I'm not throwing back at them again. I'm moving on. You get one shot with those. Yeah, sometimes you can throw back and catch them, but usually if it's the right size fish, they're either going to bite it the first time they see it, or they're not going to bite it. I'll say I start off with a minnow, I'm throwing a 4-inch minnow and they come up and chase it. Throw it at 2 or 3 of them, nothing. Or sometimes, say they're not chasing it that fast. They're just kind of swimming up and looking. Maybe go to a bigger minnow, different color. If that still doesn't work, go to a spoon. If fish are sitting high in the water column, I almost always try to get them to come up on a topwater first. For whatever reason, they just
like spook or a popper. What are you reaching for?
Spook, usually a spook of some sort.
Got it.
Need to go grab my topwater rod for tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go.
Whether that's like a shower blow, cane walker, pencil popper style, or just your regular like spook style bait. Walking baits, even bright sun, and they'll come straight up. You'll know if they can see it, and you'll know fast if they're going to bite it or not, because they'll come at it just like a rocket and explode on it, or they're not going to mess with it.
Not interested at all.
But that's really anything you throw at them. They'll tell you pretty quick if it's going to work or not. And sometimes there's days you just can't do anything right and you're not going to catch them. And,
yeah.
Maybe that's when I'm like, okay, this isn't working. I'm going to go to those inflows. I'm going to completely pivot and I'm going to go dirt shallow and see what I can make out of the day.
How often do you do that?
Recently I haven't a ton, but I had, this was several years back, but a tournament on Chickamauga, and I went during practice. I went and typical summertime offshore stuff, but this was early September, so still the same patterns as August, but those fish were just acting really funny. They'd been beat on all year, and I went to the very back of a slough, some cold water coming in, and I ended up getting second in that tournament. I caught a 25 and a 1/4 inch as my kicker in the tournament. It was
how much water was it in?
Probably about 2 foot.
Jeez.
Weightless Texas rig Senko.
That was violent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's shallow water. So this is interesting to me. So you're moving through lures and presentations at a much faster rate, I would imagine, than most anglers are.
Yeah.
Like 5-10x. Most people will keep on throwing or keep doing this, and they'll hold on to a bait because they're a confidence bait for 20, 30, 40 minutes, hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
By then, you could have moved through 25 different lures.
Through my whole box. If I haven't caught a fish in 30 minutes and I'm throwing at them, I've gone through everything I have in the boat.
Like, how many things are we talking about here? Like one a minute?
How many fish am I throwing at? It's
yeah.
Sometimes you'll go 5 minutes without seeing a fish. Sometimes they're all over the place and you just can't get them to bite, and just keep rotate.
So the bottom of your kayak looks like a bait graveyard at the end of the day. There's this stuff freaking everywhere.
And I've had so many tournaments where people say, "Oh, I can't believe you caught them on this." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And it's something that I've had laying in the bottom of my kayak for who knows how long.
I love it. Part of the strategy.
Yeah.
This stuff everywhere.
Because that's also another thing. I'll pick baits up out of the bottom of my kayak. It's faster than going into the tackle box. I'm like, that might work.
You're just cruising. So you just use some. See, you have. I imagine you carry as many rods and reels as you possibly can. Are you carrying 8 with you at any given time?
I'm usually between
practice.
Between 6 and 10 rods.
Okay. How many on tournament day? Still 6 to 10?
Yep. Just depends on what I want tied on and how many I feel.
All right.
Wow.
This is wild to me. This is fun. I'm like a little inside the mind of a big bass hunter over here. All right. That is, I've talked to a lot of anglers before. I've talked to a lot of weighing anglers before. I don't think I've ever had someone like you who are changing through lures at such a fast pace and having wild success for it. Wyatt, your thoughts
say I'm going to have to try that. I'm going to Murray tomorrow, so I'm going to have to bring a whole bunch of different kinds of minnows now. I was only going to bring one, but I guess I'm going to bring a whole bunch of minnows just to see what all's going to work.
Let me know.
So when it comes to style, Wyatt, I know you like to fish fast, Wyatt. You've told me. I think in the context of that conversation, you were talking about like moving, not just staying in one place. Not that one's better than another. One works for you, and one works for Ewing. But what is there something there? You're like, hey, that's interesting. I might have to try that out. It might be something there.
The different minnow thing. I usually kind of like stick with 2 or 3, and if they're not biting, I just change the whole thing altogether. I'll just go do something else. But yeah, like trying to make sure that the size and everything is right. Like I feel like if I'm on a blueback herring fishery and my thing looks like a blueback herring, I don't mess with it too much as far as like size and things like that. But I'm going to start messing with size, and I'm still relatively new to the forward facing thing, so got a lot to learn with it.
I personally hate a minnow on a blueback lake. I just don't do good with it.
Yeah.
People do, and I've had my butt kicked by it, but it's not fast enough for me on those lakes. I want something
top water.
Top water, spoons, list goes on and on, flukes, but something that you can't pull it away from them fast enough.
Yeah.
And there's the opposite end of things, like your Nico rigs, just plinking it at them and letting it sit.
I can't do that. If I bounce in front of them once or twice and they don't eat it, I got to go to the next one.
All right, I got some comments over here from the comment section. Got Rooster Tails. Hey, these fellows from Tennessee. Ewing is from Tennessee. And Wyatt co-hosts North Carolina or South Carolina? North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah, there we go. Love it. He said, just subbed. Ewing, good talk here. I subbed to Wendell long ago when I bought my Garmin Starker 4. Freaking love it, brother. Hopefully that's where I started on. Good stuff. This one from Michael Bradley. Changing lures that often, what's Ewing's go-to knot?
Palomar.
There you go. Easy and fast. Do you ever use any type of clips on certain things? Nope, just retying it Palomar.
Well, I mean, I feel even if I'm not changing baits, I retie very often.
It's part of fishing clean.
Especially during a tournament.
Yeah, I can't deal with people whenever they come in and, man, I broke off this fish. I'm like, well, did you retie? Like, I broke off the winning fish. I'm like, well, that's in your control. That's actually something under your control right there. So
unless it's got you buried in something, that's
So are you retying? Is a quick question. Obviously, you can do it by feel, right? If you're feeling next, are you retying simply just because do you have like a system in place?
Caught a couple fish. Haven't retied in like.
Oh, so it feels good. You're like, I just caught a couple fish. It's time to retie.
I mean, if you, which I probably start thinking about it earlier than people that aren't used to it, but if I think about maybe I should retie, I'm retying.
Got it. So you don't need any type of visual or physical clue to do that. You just do
if I feel any kind of abrasion in my line, I'm definitely retying.
100%.
But I mean, a lot of the times it's just, especially if you catch a big fish, just cut and retie. Don't even worry about feeling your line.
Yeah. All right. But man, I've heard people talk about tournament fishing a lot. These are some things that don't get talked about often. This is good. All right, let's get a little tactical here. The August bait box. Ewing, I know that right before the show, you went and got your river box. Mm-hmm. And you just said you're going to share everything in there with everybody, right? Is that what you said?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't say that. Oh, my bad.
I'm not allowed to share everything.
You're not allowed.
No, Christine.
He has an NDA.
Oh, got it.
Well,
show us what you can share. What we got here?
That's a 1/4 ounce Boogerman buzzbait.
Yeah.
I throw that all the time on the Susquehanna. It was part of my winning rotation for the first Bassmaster I won, and then this past tournament I caught a 20.5 and a 19 on it. Can't show the exact same weight bait that I throw.
Well, go back to the one you threw on the screen for 3 seconds. That's got a stinger hook on it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a trailer hook.
And what's the
Menace
trailer
grub.
on it?
Menace grub.
Is that
Yeah,
what it is?
it's a Glacier Menace grub. It's kind of a translucent white. And this skirt, I actually pull. I don't know the exact percentage of it, but I pull a lot of that skirt out, right out of the package, so it's not as full, and that's mainly just where I'm trying to maintain that translucent appearance with that Menace, so they don't get that great of a look at it. Trailers on buzzbait, I will, even if I have a trailer hook, I will always, any type of skirted bait really, always run a trailer on it, because it gives them something that they can, because fish suck things in.
Mm-hmm.
Chatterbait?
Chatterbait better have a trailer.
Really? Trailer hook?
No.
Trailer.
I was about to say,
Like
I've
plastic
never.
trailer. Something that they can, because fish will suck things in,
Yeah.
and when it's just skirt, there's nothing that they're pulling on.
Mm-hmm.
They just get air through it.
Yep.
Or water through it.
All right, that was one. You got a long way to go.
Like a wake bait of some sort. This is specific to river smallmouth. You've
Oh,
got
somebody a baby 1- earlier, and I was like, geez, when was the last time somebody made one of those?
this is actually this is an evergreen CH1. I don't know what that stands for. It's a nice wake bait. I do like it. I do throw it. They will eat it. I just have more confidence. And the main reason I like I don't think that the special secret wake bait that everyone's heard about on the Susquehanna, I don't think there's really, I think the biggest thing is I can put bigger hooks on it,
Okay.
which helps with landing. I can get just as many bites on, that 1- style bait like this. This is Bass Pro Shop's egg. It gets bit extremely well, but it's
Giant.
it's not even that big. Like,
it's an egg. Yeah.
yeah, it's so round that I think they just get their mouth pinned open and you don't hook them. Like, if I grab it like that, the hook's not even poking me. Because it gets bit better than most wake baits on that river, but I can't hook them.
Interesting.
Floppers,
I was just gonna ask about it.
which
So many ploppers going down the river.
Oh my gosh, it's
and
the
they still
funnest
bite.
bite, like recreationally. My goodness, such a good time.
Here's a fresh one in the color I like, and here's one that's caught fish in the color I like.
So you like that translucent then?
Or black. That's another color I really like. Like that.
Got it.
Little 75. But if
An
they're
art.
not biting sometimes they'll start missing a translucent one, and I'll switch to a black and they start getting it, or they're not committing to one. But I fish something translucent and I fish something black. I'm not a huge fan of bone when it comes to that stuff. Well, actually, here's a fun one for rivers, which reason I don't throw this on the Susquehanna is you spend too much time unhooking small fish. But that little jackal riser,
Okay.
you can sit there and catch every single fish off of a shoal, but you have to catch every single fish off of a shoal. And when you catch 60 fish in 2 hours, you're spending too much time dealing with fish. That's kind of part of the reason I throw larger topwaters on the Susquehanna, is because I don't want to catch the 14
16.
Yeah, because they take a long time to bring in, and if there's a bait that you can target those 17-inch plus, which my goal by the end of the day is all over 18, and if you can target those bigger size fish and not have to fool with the smaller ones. Way better.
So when are you throwing one of those wake style baits over the plopper? Like what's going through your mind when you're reaching for one over the other? And are those the main two mainstays when you're on the river? That's what's bringing in.
I start my morning with a plopper and a buzzbait, moving fast, covering a bunch of water. Is one of the local guys that fishes tournaments up there. He said it after day one at the ramp. He was talking about, taking advantage of the early morning bite and getting the low hanging fruit, like that type of stuff. I want to be extremely efficient. They're dumb first thing in the morning. They haven't seen anything yet. It's low light. I like to get my bait in front of as many fish as possible. They usually aren't going to care what it is. And a buzzbait and a plopper, you can cover a lot of water really fast. And then once that sun gets up, they get a little more finicky. They've seen a lot of baits. Then I'll slow down with that wake bait. But early in the morning, I feel like I'm not covering enough water with the wake bait.
Got it. So you're just all tactical, all strategy. I want this lure in front of many fish as I possibly can to get the aggressive, dumb ones that can't see really well yet. I like it.
Big player on that place, but I don't catch them on it.
Say that again?
A chatterbait. It's a big player out there. I don't catch them on it, but you saw Abby and Jody were right on my heels, both throwing a chatterbait. So I can't catch them on it, at least not good ones.
Yeah. I mean, to take some of that strategy. I have some rivers of fish around here. It's nothing compared as far as quality size fish that there is in the Susky.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing is. But I went out and I was like, oh crap, I got 25 smallmouth. I couldn't get one over 16 inches. And so there's not a whole lot in the river that are, but I know they're there. I mean, up to 22s on the rare occasion. But maybe I'll take a little Ewing minor strategy playbook, try to get that early in the morning. Because usually I found that I can't really get a hot bite on the plopper until after the sun comes up and it warms up a little bit. But you're saying you had different return. So I don't know.
There's a lot of people that did really well in the tournament that threw nothing but a plopper the entire day. It just wasn't me. That's not. I always try to do something a little bit different than the rest of the crowd.
Yeah.
Place. And a lot of my success comes from just staying away from people. And I was at the same ramp as Wyatt. There were a lot of people at that ramp. It was tough to stay away from people, but I spent most of my time focusing on staying away from people. Still within areas that I found a lot of fish in during practice, but just trying to rotate around water until I find an area with not a lot of pressure so they have time to set up on the things that they need to set up on in order to catch them. And then I keep my head on a swivel seeing where people are fishing. Not that I want to go fish where they're fishing, but I want to fish where they're not fishing and where they haven't fished in a while. Which usually that's the opposite of what you want to be doing when you're tournament fishing, is thinking about the next spot. But on a place like that where someone driving their kayak past the rock or the island that you want to fish can mess them up for 30 minutes to an hour, you have to keep in mind, okay, someone just fished through that. I need to not fish it for at least an hour.
For those who've never been on the Susky before, like paint a picture. How wide is this? How many? I mean, it's a long river. So is everybody just in the same spot, or a lot of people in the same spot?
The river's like close to a mile wide.
Yeah. So why are you even near anybody else at that point? Is my question.
Well, there's tons of river in play, and there's about, I don't know how many miles it would be, but about half of the river that's in play, which one of these days someone's going to win it outside of that main stem of the river. But you're usually just wasting your time. But last summer I was up there for 2 weeks. I fished 2 different tournaments, and one of kind of my off days, I would call it, I fished on, I don't know what branch of the Susquehanna it was, but I had like 94 inches on a glide bait in 4 or 5 hours. So someone can do it. It's a very risky tournament strategy because there's not as many of those 18-inch plus fish.
Got it. So they're concentrated, and everybody knows it who's been fishing for a long time.
Everyone knows that there's not like one particular stretch that wins every single year, but everyone knows the general, like, I don't know how many miles it is, but the general
stretch.
Yeah, general
mile stretch of river that it's won on every single year for the past 5 years or 6 years or however many years there's been big tournaments up there.
Yeah.
And it's right there below that dam.
Oh yeah, the infamous.
I'm so glad they got
Say that again. You're so glad what? I missed it.
So he's glad that it's not in inbounds anymore.
Oh yeah, we had a long conversation about that in one of the previous.
That was terrible.
Yeah, wild. That's interesting.
And
so
you just had so much drama of, like, if someone was fishing the dam, even if they didn't break any rules, everyone's like, "Oh, he was fishing the dam. He was cheating." But
even
you
if,
can't
even
fish
if you
the
weren't.
dam without cheating. But when there is not a physically drawn line of
Right.
where you can go, and riding that line and fishing within 2 or 3 feet of where you're legally allowed to go past is how you do well at that. Like, who's to say if you were, I think the rule's 100 feet.
100 feet. Yep.
Say you were 99 or 101.
Yeah.
Which I have a buddy that lives up there that fishes he used to fish the dams a lot, and he got out of it because of all the drama. But he would take, when the water was down, he would take rocks in the places that he likes to fish, and he would flip them over, like get a rangefinder, wade out, click, and he would flip those rocks in the places that he knows he can't. All these rocks are dark, covered in moss, and he'd flip a rock over, and he had a white rock. He knew he couldn't go past that.
Got it.
But someone that is just showing up and fishing it for the first time, they're not going to know.
Yeah. No.
There's too much gray area, and gray area needs to be eliminated when it can in that way.
Yeah. No, 100%. So this is interesting. So when you're fishing this in river fishing, you're not just fishing. You're taking a look around. You're constantly aware of your surroundings, looking for spots that people have fished by, giving it time, and then coming back to that spot whenever enough time is set for them to reset. It's also a big part of that game. Probably a part of the game that most people never think about. Fascinating. All right. I like it. All right, we're at 1 hour. If you got any questions for Ewing or Wyatt or myself, throw those in the comment section. Got a few comments over here. We got one from Rooster Tails Outdoors. Subbed all 3 y'all now. Love these talks and tips, guys. Thank you so much, Rooster Tails. Appreciate you. All right. A couple more questions.
I think I know the answer. Are you a map study guy, or you just go out and feel it out? Are you a map study guy, or are you gonna go out there and feel it out as you go?
I map study a ton.
Yeah.
I
you're from that comment that you told me at Susky with your rocks out there.
Yeah. Which a lot of that isn't map study. That I have a running Google Earth project that, anyone could look at my Google Earth project and see I could send every person every single waypoint that I have on the Susquehanna, and it'd just be too much and it'd be overwhelming. And a lot of it's knowing what to fish when, based on the water conditions. And some of the waypoints will say high water, low water, but yeah, just knowing where the fish go, and then I have like I think Wyatt did really well fishing those isolated rocks, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I found a bunch of them, and then people drove over top of them the second day, all day the second day.
Yep. And I've got a lot of those marked throughout the entire river. You float over a rock that's this big around, and 3 18-inch plus smallmouth swim off of it, drop a waypoint. I might not ever fish it again, but if I'm in the area and I'm on that pattern, I've got it marked.
How many waypoints do you have marked on, say, that river?
It's hard telling.
Hundreds?
It's probably 1,000.
1,000. All right. Just
I have fished that river every single summer since 2021. So
quite a bit.
If I had all my waypoints on a graph, I would have lost them several times because it's, you go through graphs, and I'm not a big transfer all my waypoints. I kind of like to start fresh on that. But the Google Earth stuff, it just stays on your Google account. So no matter how many phones I drop in the lake or river, I'll always have it.
Yeah. What's your favorite sonar units? What are you running right now?
I'm running Lowrance. I've run all three. I like to stick to one system on a kayak, at least, because I like to have two graphs that will work together, and I don't have to. I had a Lowrance and a Garmin, and then I'd be, 3/4 of the way through my tournament day and realized I was looking at my Lowrance map, and I had something marked on my Garmin map that I skipped over and forgot to hit. So I just got rid of that whole ordeal. I like the active target. It's got its situations. It's not as good for fishing structure and those, fish scooting on the bottom. It excels with the suspended fish. You can see your bait really far, really well. The side scan on it is right there with Humminbird. I think Humminbird's better in some situations. Down scan, I would say it's better than Humminbird. Mapping, I have the C maps on my units. I have the Navionics and Bassmaster on my phone. I use all three. Some of them are better on other places. And like the Bassmaster, if it's the One Boat Network app, it's like $25-$30 a year.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Like $50 a year, but still, and the amount of money you spend traveling all over the place, it's that cheap to have all of the best mapping. Yeah. There's no need to argue, oh, you need to run Humminbird because they have the best map, and you need to run.
I've heard all the conversations.
Yeah. Still got to be able to read it, know what you're looking at.
You're putting yourself at a disadvantage if you're just looking at one map, because there's things that some maps show that others don't. And
give us an example. What are you talking about here? So for those of us who are like never thinking about getting FFS, no clue what I'm getting myself into.
Well, forward-facing sonar, I'd say whatever brand. I don't know. I don't have much experience with the Humminbird. Wyatt, you run it, right? No?
I switched to Garmin after
recently.
I don't know. The Lowrance and the Garmin are both really good. I would wait on that new Garmin, the two new Garmin transducers. From what I've seen, they look worse than 34.
Hit and miss. I'm gonna let Angulus be the field tester for that.
Yeah, but
Abby's got one, so he's got a 42.
Yeah. You gonna throw a chatterbait? But yeah, I'd say if you have Lowrance graphs, add an active target to it. If you have Garmin graphs, add a live scope. If you have Humminbird, you might want to consider getting a Garmin. I know some people like Bailey does really good with the Humminbird. It just to Mega Live 2, I don't know. I don't have enough experience to say, yeah, it's just as good. But as far as the Garmin versus Lowrance argument, there are situations where one will excel over the other. And if you prefer fishing structure, maybe go with the Garmin. If you want to fish more of your open water stuff, the Lowrance is incredible. But yeah.
All right.
I can tell you 100%. You use as many map sources as you can. Because I know CMAP, the Chart Explorer, is free. You can see that on there. That One Boat Network, I use that, and then I'll still use Google Earth, like rolling back the history to double check shallow stuff. But I've seen down in Florida where CMAP doesn't have stuff that Humminbird does, and vice versa and stuff like that. Because I remember I was telling my buddy there was a ditch in one of the lakes in Harris, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna go fish this ditch right quick. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's got Lowrance and I've got Humminbird, and mine shows a 12-foot ditch, and his just shows just flat nothing. Yeah.
And I've also seen like Tennessee River. There's one spot that I fish on Chickamauga that's really, really good. And on Humminbird and Navionics, it just shows a straight edge of the ledge. And then on the CMAP, which it also depends on which CMAP card, because it's the base map card that the Discover, I believe, that shows it. There's just a little push out on that ledge, which if you go down it with side scan and down scan, you go down the side of that ledge, you're going to find it. But if you're just motoring on to the next spot and you're not paying attention, little details like that you'll miss. And that's all three brands will show different stuff different ways. I do really like on the Navionics, the relief shading, I feel like, is better than the other one. That was Champlain last year. That was a huge tool. Even though everyone was catching suspended fish, I was fishing rocks, but it would show those rocks on the relief shading on the Navionics.
Well, folks, and Ewing, it's been fun. I've followed a lot of Bassmaster champions on the show before, and Ewing, you actually brought a different angle than I thought you were going to. Now, I've never talked to someone with that many checks on the wall who doesn't do intense map study, so that all tracks with me. But some of the other things that you mentioned is definitely some nuggets that hopefully those of you listening in can apply and also have success with. Last question for you, Ewing. What are you big on social media? Do you post it all? Do you not care about it? Where can people find you? What is coming up for Ewing Minor and throughout the rest of the season?
So I'm on Instagram and Facebook, Ewing_Minor on Instagram and Ewing Minor on Facebook. And then I have one YouTube video that I posted before I decided that I don't enjoy editing one bit. So you don't have to worry. If you want to see it, it's Ewing Minor on YouTube. It's a video from Champlain.
92 views. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I know YouTube usually treats the first video.
Like, well, I filmed a tournament on the Susquehanna, and I was like, I don't want people seeing all of this. So then I just didn't edit it. And
yeah. No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So what do you got coming up in the months to come?
I'm fishing the Tennessee Bass Nation State Championship on Dale Hollow this weekend.
Nice.
Then I don't think I have anything going on until the
small tournament in October.
Yeah, there's something on a herring pond. We'll see how that goes. Done really well on Hartwell, so we'll see if it translates.
All right, we got Squirrel Fishing Guy over here saying good luck. Good luck to you from me as well. And you appreciate your time. Looking forward to seeing you at tournaments in the future. Wyatt, appreciate you, of course. Next week, we will be live on the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast. We got English Angling on. He is a Wilderness Systems team member. Also, just does a lot of saltwater fishing in like Jersey area. So should be a good time. Met him when I was at ICAST. Really good dude. So looking forward to talking to him. But everybody have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you next Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the KFO show. Guys, have a good one.